Hello everyone. Merry Christmas. Well, early Christmas when you see this, but whatever. I'm really sorry that I haven't posted anything in a while. I have been dealing with a lot of personal issues along with work and college, and a really bad case of procrastinating. I really do apologize for that, but to quote Filmmaster Adam, my mental health, and personal life always come first, and I hope you understand. With that being said, I wanted to make a video today because of a video I saw yesterday. I won't say any names. But this video got me thinking. The video I saw last night was talking about the aftermath of the film Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It has now been 7 years since that movie came out, and there's been a lot of hate, and it's also said to be the film that started a lot of the negativity around Hollywood and video games and media in general that you see online. And don't get me wrong, like, let me say this right now, if you do not like The Last Jedi, that is totally fine. More power to you. I respect your opinion. All I ask is that you respect mine. With that in mind, I have always liked The Last Jedi. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I never really fully understood a lot of the hatred the film has gotten. I mean, okay, some of it I do understand, but most of it I do not get why. And again, I'm not saying that the film is perfect. Far from it. I personally think the subplot involving Finn and Rose, like a lot of people, I thought was mostly just kind of tedious, bland, and not really very interesting. Some of the film does have some plot holes and issues. But I don't think the film is a dumpster fire that everyone has made it out to be, because I think there are some really good things in The Last Jedi. One of the biggest criticisms I hear about the film is what they did to Luke Skywalker. Everybody's like, oh, they turned him to a miserable, drunken old man, and it's the women who has to take his place. And it's like, I think the reason why people are saying this now is because this is a common pattern that you've seen, not just with Lucasfilm projects like Willow and Dial of Destiny, but other stuff out there. The girl boss trope, as everyone has called it. However, while I do understand to a point, I don't think what the film did to Luke is absolutely awful. In fact, it was actually one of the things that I actually really liked. It was a very unique, different take on this character that I actually thought was interesting. I'm gonna be completely honest, I never really found Luke Skywalker to be the most interesting character, but keep in mind, my knowledge on this character comes from the original trilogy. I have not read any of the expanded universe stuff. maybe the expanded universe stuff actually does a lot with Luke. But I'm judging this character off the original trilogy, and going off the original trilogy, Luke isn't an unlikable character, but he's very basic. He's the very simple good guy. Hell, I hate to admit it, but looking back at all these films now, I think Anakin Skywalker is a more interesting character. Despite hating Christensen's poor acting at times, I thought just the direction Lucas took that character in was just a little bit more interesting, compared to Luke. With Luke, you never know you knew that Luke was never going to turn to the dark side at all in the original trilogy. You knew that was never going to happen. But in the prequels, or the Clone Wars series, you legit can believe it. Not only because of Anakin's recklessness at times, but also because the prequels and the Clone Wars showed that more darker side of him. But yeah, so I thought this new take on Luke was interesting. A lot of people haven't, and a lot of people say, well, it's because of that film's popularity that Willow and Dial of Destiny did it. And to a point, you're right, but the major difference is that The Last Jedi did it better, and a lot better, actually. The reason as to why a lot of the stuff that The Last Jedi does with Luke doesn't bother me like it did with what Dial of Destiny did with Indiana Jones is very simple. The new trilogy has established from the beginning that Rey is the main character. This is Rey's story. This is not Luke's story. This is not Han Solo's story. This is not Leia's. They are supporting characters in the new trilogy. If the movie was called Star Wars: The Return of Luke Skywalker, then I could understand it, but it's not. This is Rey's story. This is something that has been established from since The Force Awakens, when the new trilogy started. The reason why it doesn't work with Willow and Indiana Jones is because those are the main characters of those stories, and you can't, so depicting them as these decrepit old men who are going to be replaced by very unlikable characters just doesn't work. That's another thing too, and I'm going to say this, Rey is nowhere near as bad of a character as Helena Shaw, and I'll explain why. For starters, give Rey some credit. She actually has a reason to be a bit fed up with Luke at times. Luke in The Last Jedi is not this beacon of hope like he used to be. He's more of an old man who had lost that hope. And to be fair, there's a fucking war going on in the new trilogy, so to find out the hero of the galaxy had been spending his time laying away in misery on a planet, I think anyone would be pissed at that. You know what I mean? It's not like she's pissed at Luke for no reason. Anytime she's fed up with Luke, or is at her breaking point, it's justified. Whereas in Dial of Destiny, Helena Shaw has no reason to be disrespectful to Indy at all. If anything, she's a complete unlikable bitch throughout the entire movie because of how she just disrespects him for no reason. That's what really gets me about Helena Shaw. There is no reason for her to treat Indy like shit. At least in The Last Jedi, Rey has her reasonings. I bring this up because so many people have given this character, and this actress, by the way, so much shit, and it is so undeserving. in my honest opinion. Another major difference too is that The Last Jedi is an actual competently made film. The action is shot well, the visuals are really good, the acting is on point from everyone. Like, it is a competently made film, which is more than I can say for Dial of Destiny. Dial of Destiny, I don't know what the fuck James Mangold was doing there. I don't know. Maybe it's James Mangold's fault, maybe it's Kathleen Kennedy's, I don't know. A lot of people also blame The Last Jedi for The Rise of Skywalker being so bad. Because The Last Jedi clearly went against a lot of what The Force Awakens set up. And to a point, I can agree. But I don't think it's fair to place all the blame on The Last Jedi. Because even if The Last Jedi did wrap up a lot of things that are supposed to be wrapped up in another movie, that's still no excuse for what The Rise of Skywalker did. Instead of actually coming up with new clever ideas to keep the story going, they just tried. Disney just panicked and said, we're sorry. Here, we'll try and retcon everything. I'll just make a complete mismatched mess of a movie. Like, this is Star Wars we're talking about here. Like, this is a series that, even though there were only 3 movies originally, we got comic books, novels, video games, a shit ton of stuff to keep the universe and lore going. There is no excuse to not just like go in a different direction with the next movie. That is horseshit. Disney only did it because fans threw a hissy fit over it, and you will not convince me otherwise. A lot of people also place a lot of blame on The Last Jedi for Star Wars' massive downfall. And I think it's more on Disney's part. For starters, it is well known at this point due to some journalists. The reason why there hasn't been a Star Wars movie in a long time is because people behind the scenes at Lucasfilms can't really come to a conclusion of what to do with the Star Wars movie now, which is why they're just pumping out a bunch of shows, because movie-wise, they have no idea what to do. A lot of the shows that have come out have not been received well, not because they try to push politics or try to push messages or try to push a feminist agenda. They fail because they're just not good shows. Like, this culture war bullshit is absolutely ridiculous. I believe in judging a movie based on how it does as a movie. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous how far this culture war bullshit has gone on for, and I am so sick to death of it. There are a bunch of people flipping the fuck out over Naughty Dog's newest game, Galactic, because, oh my god, the main character is a strong woman, and she's bald and has muscles. I'm like, who fucking cares? We don't even know the character yet. It's a teaser trailer. Why not just wait until the game is actually out, you fucking dick? And again, if you're among those people, that's fine. That's totally fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion. I'm just saying, I just don't understand the mindset there. The problem with a lot of stuff nowadays isn't strong female characters or just shoving political messages. The problem is that they're just not well written. They're just not well acted. They're just not well directed. These movies and recent projects are failing because they just fail as movies. It doesn't always have to be a political message. And that's really the biggest reason why I wanted to make this video. Because The Last Jedi, many say, is responsible for this culture war, for a lot of projects gain a lot of negativity, for a lot of negativity on YouTube. And I think it's quite foolish to blame all of that on one movie. This is all because of just the direction that Star Wars and other big movies have gone in. You could argue that The Last Jedi did plant the seeds in some respects, and in a sense, I could agree, but it doesn't mean that The Last Jedi is a god-awful movie. I compare it very similarly to when Saw came out. When Saw came out, while there were audiences that did enjoy it, critics absolutely despised it. And because of how popular it was, it led to a bunch of other really gory, grotesque films like Hostel and Wolf Creek. Because of this, a lot of people blame Saw for starting the torture porn genre. To which I say, no. Because Saw is an actual movie. There are gory things in the Saw and its sequels, but there's always a plot and a purpose behind it. There's always characters. Hostel and Wolf Creek don't have that. That's why they're garbage movies. Trying to place all the blame on a single good movie is asinine. And nowadays, Saw doesn't get that hatred anymore. Because the whole torture porn genre is pretty much dead and buried. I have a feeling that once Hollywood actually hires actual fucking writers for future films, and I feel like The Last Jedi will go, and I feel like reception on The Last Jedi will change. I think the reason why it hasn't changed is because Hollywood still hasn't realized how much they're messing up. Lucasfilm hasn't realized that the direction they're going in is a bad direction. However, due to how many box office bombs there were this year, I get the feeling that there will be a change come next year. Because there were so many films that had bombed and so many disappointing box office returns that, Hollywood is going to realize that they messed up and they're going to try and fix it. And that's really, but then again, that's just my opinion. If you don't like The Last Jedi, that's totally fine. The biggest reason, like I said, I've heard negative reviews about The Last Jedi before, and blaming it for everything now. And people hating on Rian Johnson, even if you don't like him for Last Jedi, I think the dude has more than redeemed himself for Looper, Knives Out, and the Glass Onion and Knives Out story. I think Rian Johnson has more than apologized for his later films. With his later films, I mean. But a lot of people still place blame. And that's not the reason why I'm making this video. The reason why I'm making this video is because of the hatred. There has been so much hatred online ever since, to the point that whenever I try to look at movie reviews, I'll always find a video discussing, oh, it's woke and that's why it sucks. And I'm exhausted by it. I really am. I just... like... everybody's like saying that like every movie is political now, when honestly I just don't get it. I mean, like, the only movies I can think of that were overly political or only stuff that was overly political was the Velma show and the 2019 remake of Black Christmas, both of which bombed hard at the box office and were very critically not well received. The only reason why Velma got a season two is because I think originally season 2 was actually just meant to be the second half of season 1, but HBO just split into season 2 for reasons I don't know. But yeah, I'm just sick of this hatred. I'm sick of this negativity. And it's not like hatred for movies. It's just hatred towards, people in Hollywood and everything. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's justified. But most of the time, in my opinion, it is not. Everything's just gotten so complicated now, and I'm so tired of it. I wish we could go back to the days where, we judge movies on whether they're good, if they're good or bad. You've seen my reviews of, you saw my review of Dial of Destiny, a movie that a lot of people criticize for being woke, and I never mentioned any of that, because the movie already has enough material without getting into politics. You can say whatever you want, just put it in a good movie. And the issue isn't like politics being in movies nowadays. The issue is that they're just not being done well. There's a massive difference. There are a bunch of movies out there. There are a bunch of movies out there that reflect the time period and are fantastic. But are still seen as great movies. They Live has a lot of social and political commentary, and that movie is still considered one of John Carpenter's best works. There's nothing wrong with having a strong female character. They just need to be well written. In fact, I love strong female characters. I think they're the best. Some of my favorite characters of all time are strong, badass women, like Ellen Ripley from Aliens, Michelle Rodriguez in fucking anything she's in, Mulan, the animated movie Mulan, by the way. Again, the problem isn't strong female characters. The problem is that they're just not written well. You could say Last Jedi started all of this. And to a certain point, you're kind of right. Right. But in the same sense, but again, it's kind of similar to saying that Saw is a bad movie because it started the torture porn genre. Like saying some of Clint Eastwood or John Wayne's earlier films suck because they started the old Western boom. Like, Hollywood is going to make movies off of whatever they think is popular. When John Wayne was big, Westerns were popular. When Vincent Price was big, black and white horror movies were popular. And Hollywood is just going through one of those phases. And considering how disastrous this year for films has been, that phase is definitely going to come to an end soon. But yeah, with that said, what do you guys think? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you think I'm a corporate sellout? Like apparently a lot of people criticize people who don't like The Last Jedi say? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like what you see here, click the like button and subscribe. Thank you all. Have a nice day. And also, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye.